everybody? Welcome back to the Nest. I just want to go over today a little bit about some blasting and cruising, and I get asked this a lot. People say, which is better, blasting and cruising or coming off cycle with a PCT? Well, I think there's some confusion going on what people really think about blasting and cruising. But here's the deal. Blasting and cruising is made for somebody who is already on TRT. If you are not on TRT and you decide you want to blast and cruise, then one day you will be on TRT. So if you're young or you have a very nice testosterone level, a natural level, and it's say 500 or better, then blasting and cruising is going to keep bringing that number down and down and down until you're dependent on testosterone. So if you're young and you have a pretty good test number, I'm going to suggest that you always PCT. That way you can salvage pretty much, everything you need to salvage from it. And your test numbers they may decrease slightly, but not enough to cause much effect. And you'll keep your natural levels longer. If you say fuck it, just remember you'll be pinning for the rest of your life. And for some people that don't matter, but it's something you really need to think about. 20 years from now, you still want to pin once or twice a week, just to sustain. That's a personal choice. I'm not going to make it for you, but I just want to let you know, if you blast and cruise, you're going to lose your natural test. It's not going to come back. So I don't care what kind of PCT you use. It could be 25 weeks long, a PCT with all these, extra bullshits in it, HCG, test boosters, vitamins, protein shakes. I don't give a fuck, but you ain't gonna get it back. So I just wanted to make that clear. Now, some people ask me, well, what if I do it just once? What if I blast, say January, March, April, or whatever, then cruise for 2 or 3 months and then blast again, then come off on a PCT? Well, what you're doing is you're really just doing one big long cycle. So say you do one long cycle that lasts 8 months to a year. It's going to be very, very, very hard and very, very slow for you to get your, for you to get back regular again, get back your test. And your natural levels are going to take such a hard hit that it ain't going to get back to where it was. So if you was at, say, 600 and you did a cycle like that, you're probably going to knock yourself all the way down to 500 or less, and that'll be about the best you're going to get, and it's going to take you like a year to recover. And during that year, you're going to have a lot of, shitty feeling, irritability, libido problems at the ass. You're going to know it, and you're not going to like it. And it's going to be a long road to recovery, a lot of different types of drugs you're probably going to have to throw at it, Novadex and Clomid and, probably taking Cialis every day and Viagra's and all kinds of shit. You're going to spend all kinds of money and throw all kinds of shit at it, trying to make yourself feel better. So if you want to do that, you can do it. That's on you, but I just want you to be, be aware that if you do that, you're going to knock yourself down pretty good natural-wise, and you're going to be looking at a very, very tedious, long bullshit recovery. So I would always advise a PCT if you can do it, and leave the blasting and cruising to guys with TRT who's already on TRT, because they're going to pin the rest of their life anyway. They don't have any choice, and that's a hell of a commitment, especially if you don't have a prescription for it. That's a hell of a commitment. Remember, you're going to have to be buying that stuff. You always get that risk of it not being legit, being caught, being seized, all this, blah, blah, blah. So that's a long commitment. And for some of you guys, 25, 20, 25, 30, you may have another 40 years, maybe even 50 years of life left. And that's a long time to be pinning if you just decide to make a dumb choice today. So for safety-wise, health-wise, longevity-wise, I do not recommend anybody to blast and cruise unless you are on TRT. If this is something you're making a career out of, or you're a competitor and you feel you got to do this to win, you know, that's an option for you, but just be prepared, man. That's just what I just want to make sure everybody's aware of, that you need to be prepared, that every time you do a cycle, especially a blast, you're knocking that number down, that natural testosterone number, you're knocking it down a little bit. So you don't, usually when you recover real close to that number, but you don't ever get it right back. So if you're on the low side of the spectrum right now, the best thing you can do is PCT and try your best to maintain what you got for as long as you got, because there's going to come a day you're going to wish you had it, you're going to need it, and you just ain't going to have it there. Your number's going to be tanked. You're going to be sitting down there at 250 or something like that, and you're just going to have a terrible time trying to get that quality of life back that you want so bad, that only tests can bring to you. So it's a real crucial thing. You know, most people are they're just so impatient, man. They just want to, you know, I want to have the gains. I got to have them right now. I don't want to lose 1 inch. I don't want to lose 1 pound. And if I stay on the test, as long as I stay on the test, or I stay on this or that, then I won't lose my gains, and blah, blah. And I mean, to an extent, that's a true statement, but there's a price to pay for it. In this game, there's a lot of good things that come out of it, but there's always a price to pay. And I want you to be aware of that there's a price you got to pay. And you're going to pay that piper. One of these days, one way or the other, you're going to pay the piper. So you just make sure that you understand what, you know, what you stand to lose, what you stand to have to deal with for the rest of your life. Any type of negative things you get in this game, a lot of times are not reversible. So I just want you to keep that in mind. You know, if you mess around and you damage something like your kidneys or your liver, that damage is going to be irreversible. And if you're 21, 22 years old and you're thinking about blasting and cruising, I mean, you're going to pay a price by the time you're my age. You're going to have a price to pay. And what I would personally like to do is not have you pay that price. That's why I make these videos, to try to make you do, you know, everything as safe as possible, and that way you can get the longevity out of it. If you got plenty of time to lift, you got plenty of time to eat right, you got plenty of time to grow. Trying to rush it, it's just going to cause some problems in the long run. So I just want to make you aware of that. And that's my thoughts on blasting and cruising. Try to get up another video up soon, and appreciate y'all tuning in.